Speak up. Call the power line on 0861 987 000.
Welcome back, Bantwana Benkosi. We're still taking your calls on 0861987000 000 here on Power Talk with me, Mbuyiseni and Ndlozi. I'm welcoming Chad Thomas, my favorite forensic investigation CEO at IRS. Hello, Chad.
Very good morning to you, Doc. Hello to the listeners.
Last time I spoke to you, you were caught in a storm.
I was.
So,
I
Chad,
think the whole country's now caught in a storm. Every day gets
yeah. So, maybe let me start with the immediate question. Sibiya's so-called bodyguard, and he says he's not providing any security. He's part of the evidence team. Do you know this chap?
Don't know him personally.
Yeah.
Very interesting development, seeing that there's vehicles that have been driven that are in his name. He was sitting in Parliament during the ad hoc committee when they were questioning Sibiya. He's now come out and he's trying to do some spin on EWN. But what I found interesting, of course, is if you access the SIRA database, you're able to find out anything about anybody in the security industry, and it actually says that he's rejected. His status is listed as rejected on the SIRA system. In other words, he can't offer security services. So maybe that's why he's saying he wasn't offering close protection. He was more of an advisor or part of the team. But again, wanted to ask the question, how does he fit into the mix? Why is he driving a general around? What is a civilian doing accompanying a general on perhaps official duties?
Well, a
as well as his
suspended
duties
general.
Yeah, it's all very interesting, and there's a lot more that's going to come. And one of my concerns, though, is security industry. As it stands, we've become so reliant on the private security industry as force multipliers to support the police because of the crime in South Africa. We heard that Cat Matlala had a security company, Cat Protection Services. We heard that Katie Molefe, when they raided his premises, he was holding a rifle,
Yes.
and he said he was entitled to hold that rifle because he owns a security company. We're now hearing that this other chap is involved in the security space. Mark Liftman, one of the big gangsters from the Cape that was assassinated, and Andre Nordier, one of the big Cape bosses that was assassinated, both own security companies. What is with the security industry, and why are so many bad actors drawn to it?
And how do they get their registered? How do they get to find registration of companies when they are, engaged and are part of serious investigations into serious crimes on the one hand, but some of them have previous convictions?
They do. So there's a number of issues that concern us. We've seen a lot of security companies that are owned by taxi bosses in KZN that are now operating throughout the country. They can drive with visible lights on their vehicle, with branding, which means they don't necessarily get stopped. Because they're driving these marked vehicles, the fact that they're carrying firearms and rifles seems to go unnoticed. And these guys are being rented out to do dirty work, to settle squabbles, even to take out people. So we're very perturbed. And what we've also noticed is that a lot of people are using proxies, in other words, fronts, to buy security companies. We knew of a security company based in Colesberg in the Northern Cape that because it had weapons, it was registered, it ticked all the boxes. A gangster from the Cape bought that security company using a front so they could have access to legitimate weapons. And this, of course, is of extreme concern. You've got hundreds of thousands of security officers in South Africa, the majority of which are there to do a job, but you've got these bad actors that have infiltrated. Just like the cops have been infiltrated, the private security industry has been infiltrated, and the private security industry has begun to play a far greater role over the years as SAP's capacity and resources dwindled.
Okay, who are the big five, Chad?
I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. Every day something new comes out and we think it's going to be this one or it's going to be this one. Maybe it's just a collective term and maybe there's multiple snakes to this head. We've even heard of somebody being called the octopus because there's 8 legs on the octopus and they've got their leg into everything. I don't know. To me, there's this group of bad actors that have infiltrated government, business. They've infiltrated police. They've infiltrated security. It's a lot more than 5, but ultimately they're getting protection from a token few. And those token few are benefiting. They're the enablers. They need to be identified. because as it stands right now, the likes of Vusikat Patlala, he seems to have a lot on his shoulders, not the brightest bulb in the chandelier. Is he one of the big five? No. Was he trying to replace Mswazi? Most definitely. Did he replace Mswazi? No. That left a vacuum. So it's an interesting dynamic at the moment, and we're all playing the guess game. Who are these big five?
And Mkhwanazi's testimony, maybe before I take you there, at 1000 hours, I'm having two journalists who are probing the story of Brown Mokhodzi and his assassination attempt or attempted assassination on his life. What do you make of that story?
To be very honest, when it came out, saw the vehicle, saw the pictures, posted to social that this looks staged, that he needs to be careful. Somebody said, well, he can't be charged with perjury because he didn't make a statement at the police. I said, well, he could be charged. If he was behind orchestrating this, he discharged a firearm in a built-up area, and he lied to the people around him and wasted police resources, defeating the ends of justice. The state could also have a civil claim against him for the expense of their infrastructure having to roll out and try ascertain whether or not there was an assassination attempt. But Visok is a rogue. He's an absolute thug. I wouldn't put it past him that he would have staged this to try and outplay the victim. Because as it stands now, he is a focal point of all of this. He was very vocal in the beginning. Then he claimed he'd hand himself over, he'd hand over his devices, and he disappeared. He went from the lam. Why they didn't grab him at the scene, I do not know, because it's well documented that he should have reported to Samson.
Hello, Chad. We seem to have lost Chad there. We'll try reconnect with him. If you've just joined us, Bantwana Benkosi, this is Power Talk with me, Mbuyiseni Ndlozi, trying to unpack with IRS Forensic Investigations CEO Chad Thomas some of the testimonies and developments related to the probe into police by the Madlanga Commission on the one hand, but also by the ad hoc committee in Parliament. Chad?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. We lost you there. Please complete your thought on Brown.
So I'm not sure when you lost me, but Brown, you and I have had this conversation multiple times. I said from the very first day his name emerged, the man is a thug. The man has had multiple cases against him. All of them were enrolled where he was the accused, and for some reason known only to the authorities, they were withdrawn, which points to him having connections at the very top of the police, at least in the Mahikeng area. But we're not talking minor charges. We're talking kidnapping charges. We're talking assault with grievous bodily harm using a pickaxe. We're talking murder cases, kidnapping cases. This is not a nice man. Yet this is the man that has the ear of ministers. This is the man who has the ear of Tenderpreneurs. So I think he bit off more than he could chew. He thought he could sort this out. He's an information peddler. He thought he's got a glib tongue. I think he's come to realize that this isn't going to go his way, because he's now got to see firsthand the way the parliamentarians are tearing apart some of the testimonies. He understands what Madlanga is all about. He's had a Section 3 notice served on him, and he will never be able to stand up to scrutiny. There's no way. And he is an important link in all of this. I do not believe they tried to take him out. If they wanted to take him out, he'd be dead. There'd be blood all over that card. We'd be talking about Aibo, which of the big five ordered his hits. That was not that to me was staged.
Okay, and finally, Khumalo's testimony yesterday, just beyond the claims around Sibiya's bodyguard that he brought to Parliament, who now says he was not providing security but part of the investigation team. What do you make of the rest of the details that he had revealed?
A lot of the stuff he revealed yesterday was exceptionally important. Again, the dots have been joined. Again, credence has been given to the claims made by Mkhwanazi. We're seeing our junior police members may have been used as bagmen to pick up whatever was picked up at certain suspects' homes weeks before raids and arrests were made. So there's a lot that needs to be answered for. A lot of careers are over, and we're hoping that criminal charges are going to follow. But with respect, following his first round of testimony before he fell ill, considering his testimony yesterday, it's chalk and cheese. Yesterday, the man was firing on all cylinders.
Maybe he was still warming up with all the legalities. legal
so.
definitions and is it political interference? Is it not? The history of the formation of the PKTT, what constituted it, what did it cost, and all of that, his position, blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, in this case, it does look like he's going to set the fire now below Mchunu. It looks like he was getting warmed up, and yesterday placed a lot of evidence, but maybe he's gonna now place the fire under Mchunu in a much more concrete way. But before we go to where he might go, the video that is circulating, Chad, around one of the top policemen reporting to your favorite cop, the head of the Hawks, Sibiya.
Yeah, you and I had this conversation off air the other day. I've been one that's being the eternal optimist, wanting to give people the benefit of the doubt. Have been insistent that there are still members there that we should take them at face value. And we're now hearing that it perhaps wasn't Malcolm X making the call, but it was another guy making a call. There's now a picture of that guy at the scene of Katie Molefe's raid, and they're now saying, well, who gave the Hawks? It had to have been somebody very senior the instruction to send Toms to descend on that scene to establish whether, in fact, it was fake cops or not. They were told, you get there no matter what. Use lights, use sirens, use offensive driving. You just get there. And when they got there, they found out it was a legitimate police operation. But where does somebody have the power, somebody that's not a government official, somebody that's not employed by the state in any manner or fashion, has the power to phone somebody so very senior that you've got generals and brigadiers tripping over themselves to get team members out there to make sure that this guy's looked after and that it's not fake cops that are at his premises? It shows that the rot is everywhere.
But you have one of those senior cops visiting KT, and not only that, but leaves with some gift bag. So 7 days or so before the arrest.
So that's the junior member I alluded to earlier in our conversation today. I called him the bagman. You have a bagman arriving in a state vehicle where the tracking is disabled. That state vehicle is allocated to the deputy commissioner's office. The bagman, as his name suggests, collects a bag and leaves. You know, you can't make this stuff up. You really, really can't. And it seems as if there were a lot more receipts that were going to be produced than we initially thought. We thought, okay, serious allegations have been made. We hope they can back them up. And we got through, we thought, okay, yeah, this is serious. Yeah, these guys have got a few things to answer to. Now the evidence is getting more intense. It's getting more advanced. It's getting more to the crux of whether or not there's capture that's taken place of our very top cops by these questionable, controversial businessmen and tenderpreneurs.
What is it that Mkhwanazi hasn't convincingly dealt with?
I don't think he's outed who it is, in fact, that is orchestrating.
Chad Thomas's line. This is Power Talk, Bantwana Benkosi, and we taking your calls. We're going to take your call 0861987000. We're just going to have to conclude this conversation with Chad Thomas, who keeps cutting 0861987000. I am going to take your calls. This is Power Talking, and also send through your voice notes 0833037093. That's our voice note line. Chad? I don't know what is happening, but final one is what are the other aspects that you think he still is yet to prove or provide conclusive evidence?
I think Mkhwanazi knows that the rot runs a lot deeper. I think he initiated this process so that others could come bring the evidence, and it wouldn't be him alone standing as this one person which was perceived to be on a crusade of sorts or had somewhat other vendetta. And he's left it now to the others to produce further evidence. So I think he was quite economical, although we thought it was all-encompassing and a lot was revealed on July 6th. I think he was quite economical. He gave us a roadmap, and this roadmap has now expanded. It really, really has expanded. and we're hearing all kinds of names being dropped, all kinds of alleged crimes being dropped, and all kinds of linkages that we didn't know or perhaps didn't want to believe existed.
And do you think there might still be something about Mchunu other than the political interference? And I know many people just focus on the PKTT, but in that letter is also another illegal instruction about freezing crime intelligence positions. That's like an interference into operations. But is there something else beyond these 2 points? Political killings task team disbandment on the one hand, and on the other, the crime intelligence positions. And in a way, do you think by now we have conclusive evidence that he did it in the interest of protecting either Matlala or Molefe?
So there's a caveat. This is speculation. This is based on an opinion, not rather empirical evidence. I think the linkages have been proved in respect of these bad actors having direct communication with very senior politicians. When it comes to Mchunu, he was somebody that I respected and thought had been placed in the right position. I was unaware of his presidential aspirations, and you must remember, when it comes to power and people having these aspirations, their judgment can become clouded, and they may start doing things that would be unnecessarily not the norm to try and ensure that their presidential aspirations and ambitions may be reached. So he who controls crime intelligence controls Secret Service Fund. He who disbands the unit that could potentially identify loyalists needs to be disbanded. So there's now the intention to find the motive behind this. Was there a motive? What would that motive have been? And does it link back to the presidential aspirations of Mchunu?
Chad Thomas, IRS forensic investigator, thank you so much for your time. Let's go to Tau in Johannesburg.
Dr. Ndlozi, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you, Tau?
Ngiyacela tata man khawusike usibeke ubani bamhlambe xa anxanitsho pha eParliament sithi so help me Lord when you are swearing under oath. When you are saying Lord, which Lord are you saying? Is it the commissioner or is it the creator of heaven?
We do not say Lord.
You say so help me?
God.
Or certainly God, which
yes.
God?
It is the God that you believe. You are given an option, Tau, whether you are going to take an oath to God or you are going to take an affirmation. Those who choose an oath, they bind their conscience to God. They are the ones that know whether that God is the Christian God, the Muslim God, or whatever, Jewish God, or whatever. But it is G-O-D, not L-O-R-D.
Oh, no, great stuff. But if I may so to say, I believe that that it shouldn't be taken light regarding that people, if they are Christian, they need to be clarified, and so that they can understand these people who are in authority. They need to always appreciate and value the God that they are serving. Hence, in our nation, until omita.
Luna ke boma.
I mean about the politicians, people who have been apology by including you again, Doctor. You now we have a power
and African Constitutional Paya Chief. I was 1994, I was 9 years old.
Oh, hayi ke ndiyabonga ke tata jonga ke sithi ke mhlakazi ke mani ngakufaki pha kodwa jonga enyanini nxa sithi God bless Africa, we know that we are making prayer, and then John Langalubalele Dube and also Enoch Sontonga, when he was writing this song, he was proclaiming that the creator of heaven and earth, of which is God of Christianity, of which our motherland, it falls under the Christianity, that we shouldn't be compromising, even though we want to accommodate other religion, but that needs to be prioritized for everyone that
why?
Remember,
why is the idea that the God that Christians pray is a Christian God? That can't be true.
Okay. It is
But Christianity is so
Dr.
young. I mean, biblically, there's a lot of years, maybe 3,000 years before Christ appears.
Okay, Doctor.
Tau?
Doctor.
Tau? Okay. Let's go. Maybe we'll come back to Tau. Let's go to Tebogo in Pretoria.
Good morning, Dr. Ndlozi.
Yes.
Thank God. I just want to say two things, man. Very, very painful. You know, what we are hearing at the Madlanga and Afro Committee is exactly what is taking place at SOE, like Transnet. Transnet used to have a CE, Chief Executive, with a diploma of teaching, CE. We complain. We used to have even now, executive with grade 12 at Transnet. So, but people are scared to come up. If people from Transnet can come up, we can hear big things. When we hear this, is exactly the state of Transnet. Transnet is an engineering company, but families of the executive, they went there with commercial subjects. And when you are talking dismissal is the result. Lots of people are outside because of that. Transnet. Transnet is, able to call. Unfortunately, people there are ruled by fear. But if Transnet is where it is now, on its knees, because of the maladministration and Transnet, just manager can create a policy if it's in danger. So far, we are not shocked. It's exactly what is taking place at Transnet. Transnet is, embodied. It's embodied, and it will die slowly. Thank you very much.
Okay. Debo there in Pretoria speaking about Transnet, that it is on its way to the grave. We should get a hold of Transnet leadership here in the show, Tabo, to confirm this idea that it might indeed be going down.